Several months ago, we had in this virtual studio, or as I prefer to call it, virtual fireside, DJ Skipper. DJ Skipper is based in Houston, Texas. DJ Skipper, if you know him, is a big deal. He's all over the place. And I made a promise to him that I will bring as many talented DJs onto the Story Warrior platform because DJs, as you and I know, these are fascinating individuals who are able to mix the culture, who are able to export the culture, who are able to export our ideas into the world. Without DJs, I think storytellers like myself, we would be short-handed because what we can say, the DJs can say with their songs, they can say with the music, they can say with the sounds and rhythms of our people. I am so fortunate today. I have in this virtual studio or this virtual fireside DJ Bizi Brown, the international party rocker. He's based in Germany, but I know for a fact I don't think he's in Germany today. Hi, DJ Bizi Brown. Where are you today? Tell us which part of the
Hello,
world.
Mr. Story Warrior. Finally, I get to be blessed and be invited, or should I say, welcomed to your platform. It's a great pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you.
Yes. So today I'm actually broadcasting all the way from Las Vegas, where I am.
Las Vegas, the sin city, the sin capital of the world. Is that?
Those are your words.
I see the way you watch it. I was like, no, not for me, not for me. But Vegas, oh my goodness, Vegas in summer. Why Vegas? I know you're based somewhere in Europe, but before we get to that, why Vegas?
Yes. So
DJ
I'm
Brown.
yeah. As you know, or those who don't know, I'm based in Germany originally, or naturally at the moment, and I've been very active from Germany to the world for the past 22 years as an international DJ, MC, moderator. I've done radio, and also work as a plug and entrepreneur in business,
Wow.
connecting people from different genres, different countries, different cultures, as you rightly said. And I'm very grateful for Skipper who made the request. That's my boy Jerry. We go a long way back, and we've also worked together on several occasions in Germany. He's every Valentine's Day. Everybody knows Jerry's coming to Germany. We've worked together in Dubai. We've worked together in Texas. We've worked together in Atlanta and very many places. He's very talented. He's not just a DJ. He's even more than that. He plays the keyboard. He plays all instruments and makes music. He's a one man band. So I just have to give it up to him. So he's made it possible for many of us also to come out here. So I give him a lot of respect and love to DJ Skipper.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
Las Vegas, back to your question. Sorry for drifting away. I just
No,
had
it's
to
all
give
cool. It's all
him
cool.
flowers. Why Las Vegas? It's a hub for our music. So and it's hub for music globally. In Las
Yes.
Vegas, there are about, let's say, 10 major stars every day. Every
Yes.
day you have 50 Cents today. You have Bruno Mars. You have everybody's here all the time.
Mhm.
Usher's had a residency here. Burna Boy performing. Afrobeats is still struggling in Las Vegas, I must say, on the big platforms, the big pool parties, the big.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're working everywhere. So right now, how it is that I'm based over the summer in Las Vegas, and I fly out to different cities and states, especially to this side of the world, because I
Mhm.
have a lot of bookings on this side, which means in the Caribbean, South America, USA. And next month, I even have to go all the way back to Africa.
The
I'm gonna
motherland.
Yes, I'm gonna be performing in Zanzibar next month for an amazing wedding. I cannot give too many details
Yeah, too
because it's
many details. Some may be
yeah,
VIP, some may not be VIP, but I understand when you withhold some information. So
exactly.
you're in Vegas because Vegas is such a hub
Yeah,
that connects you to the rest of the world. But also, it's also the potpourri. It's also the mixing pot where you can stir things up and you can connect with all these other international stars that some of them you've mentioned their names. But
exactly.
if I may, how do you compare the scene in Vegas to the scene in some of the major places in Europe where you've performed, and they're also famous. Maybe I don't know if it's Venice in Italy. I don't know if it's in Germany
Yep.
or some. Which are some of the comparisons of Vegas? Is it Monaco in Europe?
Exactly. So my base in Germany or in Europe is actually Cologne city, and Cologne city is one of the most beautiful cities in Germany or Europe. Also very lively. We have a lot of culture and music going on,
Mhm.
and besides that, there are a lot of hubs like London, Ibiza, Paris, Amsterdam, and the great thing about Europe is like as I'm based in Cologne, I have the chance to go to all these cities. Paris
Yeah.
is 4.5 hours away. Amsterdam is 2 hours away. Brussels is 2 hours away. This is driving. If I take flights, it's even shorter, and you can go to so many places. And it's quite different because, first of all, Vegas still has the tag that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So people come out here and they go really crazy.
Yes.
They go crazy on the expenditures, on the way they celebrate life and party.
Yes.
Um, so there's still that little thing to it in Vegas where people say it's just a place where you go and let out the steam. I mean, when Francis Ngannou and other boxers started taking fights in Riyadh, for
Yeah.
example, people were bothered that, oh, what's going on? Are you guys trying to take away the big shows from Vegas? But
Mhm.
nevertheless, there's still big fights here. There's still a lot going on here. I am for diversity, and I think there's room for everybody. There's room for every city, every country to have
Yes, sir.
its time and to have its exposure to the world. So
Yes.
I'm not going to say Vegas is everything.
Yeah.
Vegas is a beautiful place, and it's amazing that in the middle of the desert that you have this much going on that people fly out here. I mean, today you can barely walk outside. It's for my European and African people, it's 42 degrees above Celsius. That's very hot, you know. But I don't really feel it because I mean, it's like when you're in Dubai or
Yeah.
some of these hot places in the Middle East, you jump from AC to AC. Then they have
Yes.
huge. So even when you want to do stuff outside, you
Yep.
still go and hang out in the big malls. There are restaurants in there, stuff. But when I asked a friend yesterday. I said, "How do you do it in Vegas with this heat?" And he said to me, "It's just 2 months a year. The rest is okay." So
And
it's amazing to succeed to come out and create such an El Dorado in the middle of nowhere. I
yes,
have so much
indeed.
respect for that. Yes.
Thank you. I went to school in the state of Nevada, and
Yeah.
Las Vegas is a larger version of Reno, where the original sin city was Reno. But Reno tended to be very conservative,
Yeah.
whereas Las Vegas, when things spread down south to Las Vegas, everything blew up from there. And the people
Yeah.
around there just said, "Let's make magic out of this place.
Yeah.
We don't care about what is morality. Who cares about morality? Let's just make people have a good time." So that state is my ultimate state in the United States. And when I come out there, whether it's 107, if I want to go out jogging, I'm going to go out jogging because I'm in total defiance. I'm
Yeah.
like, if you come from Africa, you can do anything, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. So when
It's
I'm
a
out
great.
there, I love it in summer. I love it even more in winter because everywhere else is frozen, but Vegas will be just warm and chill. And so I really love that part of the vibe of Vegas. Now,
Yes.
one thing that still really I can't understand is sometimes you meet somebody who is at the top of their game
Hmm.
and you admire them. You think that is an overnight success.
Yeah.
But I think the titles that you possess, international DJ, MC, entrepreneur, and you're famously known as the international party rocker, I don't
Correct.
think you got this moniker overnight. Tell us, where did your journey begin in the world of music, in the world of DJing, and in the world of MCing and entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So thank you very much. That's a great question, and I have to repeat that. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
My
I think
utmost pleasure.
to me gratitude is everything. So
Yes, sir.
I never stop expressing my gratitude for also what you're doing for the culture.
Thank you.
It's really amazing. I did watch a lot of your work.
Thank you.
When Dr. Amwam hit me up and said, "Hey, you have to meet this guy. You guys will have a great great things to do together, and I was very inquisitive, and I checked it out. So you're doing a very, very great job with what you're doing, and I
Thank you.
encourage
Shout out to Dr. Amam, Dr. D, as they call him in
you. Great.
Cincinnati, Ohio. All right,
The
continue,
is
sir.
He's an amazing, amazing person. He's one of my favorite people in the world, I must admit.
He is a
So,
level-headed gentleman. I love him.
oh yes. Back to your question. Thank you for the question. So, how it started. I was born in the early '80s, and my father, who was also a scholar, had a lot of passion and love for music. He was playing as a drummer in the band, and he was a disc jockey. I don't even want to call it DJ because let's take it to what they used to call it back in the times. You know, playing
Yes.
soul funk. So I did grow up with turntables at the house, and we
Wow.
have records like Abba Abba. We had Prince Nikombarga
Mhm.
with his song "Sweet Mother." We have records of Bob Marley and the Wailers. We have Saturday Night Fever. We had, as I'm speaking, I still see the pictures of all these records in my head. You know,
I can
Jimi
imagine.
Hendrix and Prince and all the big classics. We had them at home, but I didn't have the rights to mishandle his turntables, you know, or vinyl players. So you had to take the needle very carefully and drop it on it, and then you heard the way it was going gradually,
Yeah.
and you know. So when he did it in front of me, I had so much respect, and I had to respect this equipment. So I couldn't play around and do something silly, but I still had the exposure to the music. So my
Okay.
dad studied back then economics and had his PhD, and unfortunately, or I mean, it's not unfortunately, but he could not pursue in music per se because he had a lot of responsibility and a lot of people on his back, and he was also passionate about sports refereeing and stuff. So he then had music on the side, which was always a very big foundation for us,
Mhm.
because it also gave us a lot of happiness when
Mhm.
you're in a home and you're listening to this music, which is great. Listen to
Yes.
Bob Marley, already having the messages and the
Yes.
influences from the music in our lives.
Mhm.
My siblings and I, it was already a very, very great thing. And
Yes.
um, I started really as a young kid playing on a ghetto blaster, which is a radio, as some people might call it. So I had, till today, my mom still kept my ghetto blaster and gave it to me. I have it in Germany in my studio. It's
Wow.
actually, yes, it's antique. And
Yes.
I had first a ghetto blaster with one cassette, and
Yeah.
we used to go to these DJs who would dub cassettes. So they're going to record music on the
Yep.
cassettes,
Yep.
and then you choose. And one side could only have like 3 or 4 songs max, and so one cassette might have 7 songs or 8 songs depending on their
Yep.
length. So I would literally put one cassette, and we didn't have a mixer back then, so we had to stop and play.
Yeah.
So I think I have a Walkman with
Yeah.
batteries where I can hear the music before, because we didn't have all the equipment we have today, right?
Yep. Yep.
I put it in my ear, listen to it, and since we're young and broke, we don't have batteries. We take it out. We're gonna grab a pen or a pencil, put in the cassette, and turn it until
Yep.
where you want to have it. You put it back and test it. That's
Yep.
how we were mixing back in the days. Turn it, put it back, and test. When it's the right place, you put it in the ghetto blaster. So you have one cassette playing, and then you
Yep.
put the other one, and then you press play and stop at the same time at a moment when people are about to dance. And that's how I used to DJ as a kid on
Mm.
barbecues, on different gatherings. When family came around for me, I was always in charge of the entertainment, the music,
Mm.
also the drums. I used to play the drums, which I
Hmm.
learned from my dad. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so for me, that was already amazing. MCing also came due to the fact that I also love to be explicit and audible, and I get frustrated when I see people in a setting and they're confused and they don't know, they have no sense of direction. So I always felt blessed supporting, and that's why I also worked very much on my articulation
Yes,
in all
sir.
in all the languages I speak. That
Oh,
I'm audible and people can understand me. And
yes.
believe it or not, when I was a kid, I was reading the
Yes.
dictionary like
Okay.
people read books. I'll
Yep.
go into the dictionary, pick a page. I just open a page and read, and I see any word which I thought was exciting. I'll
Yep.
write it down. I'm like, I'll use this word. I'm waiting for the right time. And I had my exercise book with all the words. I would read
Yes.
it and use
Yep.
it, you know, and try to make it. And sometimes it got so complex, people would say, "Man, you have to break down your words. We can't understand." It's like, oh, this defeats the purpose of people understanding. So I had to break down my language, but it's passion for communication. And for me, I think one of the strongest things we have in life or in society is communication in every
Yes,
way.
sir.
Music
Absolutely.
communicates a message, it communicates a
Yes.
vibe. Speaking communicates. So I became a DJ, a moderator, an MC. I also work on big festivals where there are
Mm,
thousands of people, or smaller ones, or galas. People also book me for
mm.
galas in different events where I have to suit it up and hold
Yep. The
a
mic.
mic, communicate, and
Mm,
do some transactions. Or
mm.
so that's a little bit where I came from. And then
Wow.
growing up, I met young DJs who gave me the opportunity to work with them to learn, and it
Mhm.
always became better and better. And then people started paying for my services, and I love the Nigerian term packaging. So I learned the art of packaging, which means of branding
Mhm.
yourself, which also is a big passion of mine to brand, which is still
Okay.
another avenue of communication to
Yes.
communicate what this brand or what this service is about.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I really got very passionate about branding and marketing. And when I realized how to brand and market myself, and how to speak and how to get people's attentions, I started getting more money. My value started going up
Yes,
in
sir.
many ways. And I'm also a very inquisitive person. When I was a kid, my mother used to say I have elephant ears because I heard everything. Every time people came to visit and they left,
Mhm.
I was like, Mom, did you hear? His wife was saying that this happened and that happened and here. And she, elephant ears, was listening to everything just because I was curious. And the
Okay.
curiosity exposed me to different cultures, because everywhere I am, I find if I meet somebody from Sudan, I'm like, who's your
Yeah.
president? What do you guys do? What do you guys like
Yep.
to eat?
Yep.
And when I know these cultures, I also know the music. So in my music repertoire, I can play for Chinese people from the southeast of China. So
Mhm.
long as I also know how to recognize and see. Sometimes I get off the DJ stage and I go and tap somebody on the shoulder and like, tell me, your group of 15 friends, where are you guys from? He's like, oh, we're
Mm.
from Bangladesh. I say, oh, okay. I go back and I have music that I know is going to make them happy and
Mm.
give them a good
Fantastic.
time. So
Oh my
that's a little
God.
bit in a nutshell, a little bit of
Wow.
how I grew from being
Yep.
the kid of somebody who's passionate about music,
Mhm.
loving it, taking it, and making something out of it. And yeah, pretty much
Wow.
feeding
I
my team with it.
I'm blown away because as you spoke, I saw some similarities. Growing up in Africa, in Cameroon, precisely, uh, I was also fascinated by learning. Granted, we had a bush lamp at home,
Mm,
but I would pick up the dictionary. I would say, this year I'm going to learn 365 new words.
wow.
Not only that, I would pick up phrases like necessity is the mother of invention. I would throw those phrases around. Then when I
Yes.
started reading the adventures of Tom Sawyer, I would start to repeat some of those phrases, the quick one-liners like Tom Sawyer, the Black Revenge of the Spanish Seas. Those are the kind of things that fascinated me. And when I started learning French language, I also went into it with so much passion. I grew up in up country, Bamenda
Mm,
area, where the French was not very common at that time. But
yeah.
in school, I studied it very well. And by the time I got to university, I could be classified as a francophone, more or less. Now,
Yeah.
I think they made a mistake, but that was based on my score. But I say that to indicate that when you have a sound communication background,
Hmm.
working the audience, whether as a DJ or as an MC, is pretty easy. I've
Yeah.
been fortunate to make a living to some limited extent as an MC. MC'd in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in all kinds of
Mm,
foreign places. And I wonder why they would even choose me, because there'll be a million other people that are more talented. And the
mhm.
coolest one was a friend asked me to MC at his Chinese wedding. I had
Wow.
to work on some. My Mandarin Chinese was okay at that time, but I had to pop it up so that I could jazz up the audience. So I have quite a lot of respect for what you've done. How many languages do you speak? And uh, how many countries in? Let's start with languages. How many languages do you currently speak?
Yeah. So it's a little bit. I think it's unfortunate that the West does not acknowledge pidgin as a language, for
Yes. Well, but it's a
example.
language. Absolute
Yeah,
language.
it's even written, right? But you
Yes,
would
I
hardly
hear the
go.
scholars, their scholars now that's crazy to study pidgin, and they now travel to African countries to learn it and develop
Wow.
uh, deeper level content about pidgin. So yes, absolutely, we got to
Yeah.
count pidgin.
Anyway, so back to it. So I speak English, German, French, basically. I have a
Mhm,
great understanding of Spanish.
mhm,
Um, my Spanish is quite basic. I understand everything, but it's quite basic.
mhm,
Besides that, Jamaican patois,
mhm,
Pidgin English, French, even French Creole,
mhm,
and many accents. And it's amazing that some accents make a language become something completely different.
mhm.
So I'm very open. And when I deal with people, when I go to London, in 1 or 2 hours, I'm already full into the accent. And I think accents is also something I'm very passionate about. You know,
Okay.
how to speak and still be genuine,
Yeah.
speaking different accents. And
Wow.
so besides language, accents is something that I'm quite
Mm.
passionate about, and it also helps me a lot with my emceeing. So if I'm DJing and there's a Latino crowd, I
Yeah.
change my accent a little bit and make
Okay.
it more enticing. If I'm
Wow.
playing dancehall and reggae music,
Yes.
I start speaking patois. If I'm playing Afrobeats, pidgin,
Wow.
going to
Wow.
Congo music, even Lingala. I
Hmm.
started off some years ago. I met somebody from Congo, and he wrote me different statements in Lingala. You know, "Mbote na yo, ndenge nini, ozali
Hmm.
bien," and I
Hmm.
wrote it down. And while I was DJing, I opened my phone in the notes, and I
Hmm.
read. I'm like, okay, how do they say, "Girls, throw your hands up," you know,
Hmm.
or vice versa. So I'll say it at the right time while I'm
Yeah.
DJing, and
Yeah.
then the people come to me, "Are you from Congo? Oh my God, yes." You know, they get so excited because it
Okay.
feels like it's their person playing, and I do that in so many
Yes.
other languages that I play around. So languages is something I really love, and I'm fortunate that I learn languages very fast. So even when I put my head to it, I'm into Portuguese quite fast, and
Hmm.
yeah. So I also have um, I have a snippet of every language when I
Hmm.
move around, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I'm fortunate that I um, I think it's also my versatile background already from
Yes.
childhood. Mom is originally German, and so I had German also in
Heritage.
in my heritage. I speak
Hmm.
accent-free German, English, French, and
Hmm.
yeah. So those are my basic languages, and
Hmm.
I'm very open-minded, even
Yeah.
to learn. I want to learn more. When I hear people say the one very weird term that I hear people say is I'm too old. When you say, I'm
And
too old for that, I'm too old. I'm like,
I
what does
don't
that mean?
think that's they're
You know?
not serious. I love learning. I love learning, and but I'm sure you grew up around an environment full of books because your dad is pretty famous. You want to say a couple of things about your dad, but for me, looking from far, I know your dad is like a polyglot. He was an international referee. Maybe he's retired now. He was a respected scholar. He was known for many different things. I think an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
did martial arts and did so many things. You want to give a shout out to
Yeah,
your dad if you're okay. For those who don't know, watch
of
out.
course. Yeah,
Don't mess
so
with him though.
that yeah, that came he actually came up from poverty and made his way up and um found people who trusted him because of his way and how he carried himself, and he
Mhm.
succeeded a lot. Made his way up through education and being consistent in everything he does. And the amazing thing, which I still applaud till today, is that he took everything to the toppest level. So he never
Yes,
did something halfway.
yes,
You know, when he was a soccer referee, he made sure he was an international soccer FIFA
yes,
soccer referee. He
yes.
became a member of the Olympic board. He became when he got into karate.
Mhm.
He had 8 dance. I just have two. My brother and I. He had 8 dance, a
Wow.
black belt of karate. Was
Wow.
doing refereeing tournaments in Japan, and his master was from Germany. Um, who was very his name is Uchi. He's a strange enough, he's still alive. He's an old Japanese man who taught dad karate, and he learned a lot of discipline also through art, through sports,
Martial
how to
arts.
be disciplined, and he took that into his education and studied and had a PhD, and also got into politics and diplomacy, representing different organizations across the whole globe. And I'm very grateful for the blueprint that he set. And to be very honest, which I want to say now, and I hope Dad watches this someday, um, that I'm very grateful for everything, and I'm
Yep.
especially grateful that you never stopped me from doing what I love. Never. That is people ask me all the time, how did you get into DJing
Yes.
when you've been to all these schools and elite schools? I'm
Yes.
also blessed with that education. But when you've been to all these elite schools, you studied, you've done all this stuff, all this education. I mean, I'm also in IT, but that's another story. But my passion is music and entertainment.
Yes. Go
Dad
for it.
asked, I mean, sorry, I mean, people ask me, and the real thing is Dad never stopped me from doing and being who I am.
Fantastic.
That's a big thing. I know a lot of people who suffer because their
Yes.
parents think they have the best recipe
Yeah.
for
For
them.
success.
There are often parents who try to correct their own mistakes through their
Yes.
kids and want their kids to live their dreams.
Yes.
Sometimes it's I don't blame. I understand that some people are trying to generate generational wealth, and they trying to also secure. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They're trying to also secure their own old age. Someone going to take care of them and flying them around and doing stuff. So they say you have to be a nurse, you have to be a
A doctor.
pharmacist, you
Yeah.
have to be a doctor, you have to
Yeah.
be. They force you into something which you have nothing. But Dad never stopped me. I
Wow.
understood the necessity for my education, and I went through it. I understood the necessity for my foundation, but I also was allowed to express my artistic side, to express my
Yes.
passion, and yeah, Dad, thank you very much for that. I let
Fantastic.
me say it publicly once, because if it was not, if I didn't have that freedom, I
Yes.
wouldn't as happy as I am.
Yeah, you would
I,
have felt strapped. You would have felt like limited in some way. So kudos to a genuine African dad, Dr. Akamwan, for giving his son and his sons the opportunity to be whatever they wanted to be. Because I know, coming from Africa too, many families, many guys with whom I grew up, they are still stuck in careers
yeah,
that their parents wanted them to pursue for their own interest, not so much because those guys wanted to be in those careers. And that's very, very, that's profoundly painful. I'm glad my mom did not have formal education. She said, just go wherever you want to go, do what you have to do, just be a good boy, and then the world will take care of you. And that's all she gave me. And that has also liberated me so much to go to places where people don't always want to go to and do things that people don't often want to do. And
yeah.
talking about things that people don't often want to do you agree with me that DJ is a very commendable career pursuit for someone? Is that true, or am I being a little bit disoriented? Is that
No,
possible to pursue a career as a DJ, and can you take it professionally and make a living out of it?
first of all, let's start from the basic. Human beings are stressed. We have so many problems in Kenya. They wanted to put through a bill which people didn't want. People rioting all over. Everybody's frustrated. In Rwanda now, there might be a change with Kagame. People are stressed. Is he going to go? Do we have what it takes to put him back there? People are stressed with the war in different countries, the wars in different countries, with the Trump situation, with so many things
Mhm.
around the globe. I know I just mentioned political stuff, but of course, even domestic stuff. There's all kinds.
You didn't even mention anything about 237.
Um,
237 is in a very murky situation too now, and there's a lot of issue there too.
So even there's there's a lot of stress and confusion. Exactly,
Yeah.
because even there now in Cameroon on to 2025 now, this presidential elections, people are stressed. Everybody's afraid. Is there going to be war? What's going on? Is the president going to want to stay longer? The people in power who are fighting for power, what's going to go on? People are dealing with illnesses all over the world, trying to
Yes.
find a way. So the main message, I know I went political. I don't know why I did that, but because I was watching news this morning. But the main message there is the world is stressed.
Yeah.
Now, how do people get rid of their stress? Most of the time, say, hey, let me grab a glass of wine. The definition of relief, or let me say, when people speak of relief, is hey,
Is
let's
that
let's
is that is that vodka?
no, it's water. It's
Okay,
water.
I'm sipping coffee.
Yeah. Funny enough, despite being a DJ, I don't drink alcohol. I don't take drugs. I don't smoke. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm very even on when I'm performing. I'm very very disciplined. I
Okay.
don't.
I
Yes,
mean,
I'm very
you take your
focused.
craft very seriously.
I
That's
do.
amazing. That's
I
amazing.
do.
And I don't think that anybody who drinks on the job should be taken seriously because sooner than later you're going to lose your focus. But
Yeah, but
back
that's
back
the thing
back to
we
the
have.
question. It's
Yeah,
you're saying that you pursue music because it helps us to have an escape from
exactly.
all the stressors of the world.
So in a nutshell, we all looking for where to leave out the stress, and most of the time it's a party. Let's
Mm.
party. Let's celebrate. Let's relax. Let's forget
Mhm.
for a moment. So with all the stress going on in the world, there's always going to be parties. And when you have a party, you need good music, and then you need a DJ. I always say a promoter who knows the value of a DJ is like a restaurant owner knowing the value of a cook.
Yes.
Because no matter how beautiful a restaurant is,
Yep.
no
Yep.
matter
That's true.
how great the kitchen is, the equipment, if you don't have the right cook,
Cool. Yeah.
your
The right
restaurant has
chef.
no value.
Yep.
So the cook or the cooks,
Makes it
it's
taste.
like DJ in a party. So that's the
Yes.
value which we have.
I.
And a lot of people also don't know. They always say, you want so much money? You want us to pay this amount of money just to play for 1 hour?
Yep.
I'm like, the work is not the DJing is the last part of the work.
That's
You have
right.
to before that club heard about me. I
Yep.
invested money in branding. I
Yep.
sit nights. I have to be alert. I watch the charts every day. What
Mm.
music is going up and down? I have to
Yep.
make sure I have everything. I make sure I have complex equipment to give you quality music. There's
Mhm.
so much investment. There's so much. It's they say it's an. There's also say DJing is a most expensive hobby that
Oh, really?
exists.
I've not heard that
Yes.
one. Huh.
Yes. Now it's
Okay.
changed a little bit because back in the days when we bought vinyls, one record would cost 12 euro or 25 euro, 24, 23, 18, and it was one song, one single per
Yep.
song. But now through digitalization, it's become harder because every Tom, Dick, and Harry can become a DJ. You can take even your laptop, a phone, an iPad. There's so many ways you can
Mm.
download music illegally. So you even
Yep.
save again, and then you go and tell a DJ, a club, hey, I'll pay you pay me $50 and I'll DJ for you, or just give me a bottle of Jack Daniels. People do that, and that was a big threat to our career. So
Yep.
that
Yep.
also made us put us in a position where we had to invest into our brand and
Yep.
make sure you think.
And adapt.
Yes, that's why when you asked me what should I write, I told you DJ Busy Brown International Party Rocker because it's a slogan that I go by. And when people hear
Mm.
International Party Rocker, why is that his name? Let me go and
Exactly.
look for his Instagram. Let me go and
Yep.
check what his
Exactly.
Instagram name is so that I can figure out why he thinks he should
He
call
is
himself
party
International Party
rocker.
Rocker. So that's part. So you're constantly aware of your brand when you
Yes.
do stuff, when you move. It's a lot of work into it.
Yes.
You need to
Absolutely.
have the passion. If you don't have the passion and think it's just a way, DJing is not something you just do just to make money. You need to
Yep.
love
You need
you need
to.
to have passion. You need to
Yeah.
love what you do. You need to love to make
Yep.
people happy because as a DJ, what we're doing is making people forget their stress, making people happy, making people exercise, and even if you're playing in a place where people are sitting down, I'm observing. Where that's why I have good. These are very good glasses. I see
Mhm.
people, and even if I just see somebody move his head and smile when I play something, I say, "Oh, I'm touching his soul," you know.
Yep, yep,
And that's for me is everything. Is
yep,
beyond payment you
yep.
can give me. Is what am I doing? What effect is it having for the people? So
Yes,
back to your question, yes, you can live off it. It takes a lot of dedication and
mhm,
time and love and
yeah,
passion and packaging. You have to know how to
yes.
package yourself
Wow.
and keep moving and always be, and also a lot of positivity, because I think when you put out negative vibes, people feel it and they'll not be
Oh
with you.
yeah.
So a lot of people like me because I have an uplifting mindset and it keeps going. And then also recommendation, you have to be a people's person because
Oh
they don't
yes.
just like you because you have a nice account. They like you people
Because you drive
recommend
a
you.
nice, not because you drive a nice car, beautiful
Exactly,
wife, beautiful kids. No, it's about the craft. What
exactly,
can you touch my soul? So I see
exactly.
DJs. Here's how I see DJs, DJ Brown. I see DJs as uh, people who
Mhm,
stage an escape. You help the rest of us who are stressed out, who are disgruntled with the world, to
mhm,
stage an escape into a tiny little tunnel, call it a bubble, to go
mhm.
and stretch out and express ourselves and feel happy without realizing that we got some issues to return to. So
Ex-
if you don't have somebody who can stage a escape like a DJ, it's like you have this conveyor belt on which you take us all the way into your tunnel and you blast up the music. You let us have a lot of fun. You sprinkle it up with a lot of neon lights. We forget about our stressors. And then we come away saying, I had such a good time. Man, I cannot even believe what I had, what I went through. But it's because you're touching their soul. You're touching their soul. You're watching them. You're watching their moves. You're giving them a reason to feel their humanity. And when they go back to their problems, they feel like, okay, now I want to face my problems again head on. But if they didn't have that escape, it's like you're always constantly in the grind. You're always in the grind. And that becomes boring. It wears you out. It makes you feel very, very sick in your heart.
So even when you go back to your regular grind, ladies and gentlemen, go to Spotify and look for DJ Bizi Brown. I have playlists of different genres you can hear in your office,
Yes,
at
sir.
work, in your bus, in the train, in your car,
Yes,
just to
sir.
relieve you a little bit. So music is something you take. I don't know how the world would be if it were silent without music. We take it,
We'll,
and we need music for everything. So
we'll
it's
be
it's.
very dark.
I accompany the people even when they leave the party. You know.
Okay. It's good to
Yes.
know. So we'll be asking more about your handle so more people
Yeah.
can go and find out. But if someone is just joining now, hey, 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 this is the Story Warrior channel where we feature unsung heroes with untold stories. People who are trying to create a new narrative, who are trying hard to climb a mountain no one has climbed. And today we're fortunate to have DJ Bizi Brown all the way from Cologne in Germany, but currently in the city of Sin. All right. Don't quote me on that. He's currently in Las Vegas. But tell us, how did you develop? How did you come to this international party rocker moniker that you have? How did that evolve?
Yeah, so being in Germany, I worked very hard on making sure I'm part of everything that was relevant, and it's basically, as I say, it's people's skills and the passion for people, the love for human beings. I don't
Mhm,
isolate myself. I deal with people when people have amazing things going on. They reach on to me to
mhm,
contribute either with my craft or finances, or sometimes it's also just with your knowledge and your
mhm.
expertise on entertainment generally. So I have people who
Yes.
call me and say, "Hey, I'm about to bring Whiskey to Austria, but I don't know where. I'm just getting into the business. What's going on? Do you know somebody who can play before him? Can you?"
Wow.
So I work as an entrepreneur. Plug. I've also ran my own nightclubs for over 10 years with my partner DJ Busy Brown and excuse me DJ Notorious from
Okay.
Germany. We run nightclubs. We
Mm,
did a lot of events, concerts, and
mm,
I've worked with a lot of artists. So after 22 years of working, I have a great repertoire
mm.
of
Credentials.
entertainers,
Yes.
promoters, artists.
Yes.
I speak to everybody who's relevant,
Mhm.
not just in the urban world, even in in mainstream music, European music, American, Latino, Jamaicans. If I want to reach one of the Marley sons, I know who to call. If I want to reach
Wow.
Wizkid, I'll call Mr. Array Sunday in
Oh
Lagos.
my
If I want to
God.
reach Burna Boy, I call Mom. If I
Yep.
want to reach, I
Yeah.
mean, you go to Instagram, you can see I was recently with Ice Cube and Busta, and I'm not doing name dropping to
I mean, it's
think
cool to do name dropping. In fact, the next question is going to be about name dropping. I want as many names as possible. You know why? Because it matters. It takes time to build those connections. Nobody
Yeah.
can self-profess himself to be a connector if you've not put in the work. Because if I were to call Ice Cube, he's not going to take it. So you have to develop. You have to build the relationships over time. And in my day gig, I teach leadership. I teach communication to executives. And some of
Oh,
them are very successful. They're very good. They're engineers. They are very technical minded people, but they're shy. They're afraid of people. I'm like, come on, get out there, get out of your comfort zone.
yeah.
Talk to people who look like you. Talk to those who don't look like you. Humans are humans. They don't bite.
And
So
I also feel very frustrated when I see people who have something to offer, but they're afraid to communicate, or
there you go.
they're afraid to create awareness of their
There you go.
brand, their
There you go.
services, and their personality. And that's a
Yes.
big thing. So the very basic answer to your question is personality. I make
Okay.
sure I do invest. I educate myself a lot on how
Mm.
to carry myself, on human behavior. And last Christmas, my siblings, I have my brother and my sister, we always have a very intense meeting on New Year's or Christmas where we speak about each other and we tell each other the truths of
Mm.
how we carry each other. My brother told me the biggest we speak of the pros and the cons, and
Mhm.
so one of the things he mentioned, he said, well, the biggest thing you have is you are very interested in human
Mm.
behavior, you know.
Wow.
And it
Wow.
made me reflect. I said, really? He said, bro, you're so interested to understand, why did he say no, how does he feel, why would
Mm.
he do that, why wouldn't he do that, why does
Mm.
he feel like it doesn't concern him, why
Mhm.
does she
Mhm.
feel that this concerns him or her,
Mm.
so it's
Wow.
something which I have in me and which helps me. So when I speak to anybody, I also make sure that I bring value to that conversation,
Yes, sir.
that person will keep me in their mind. So even if I speak to the if I speak to Putin's assistant one time, I make sure that I leave some value in that conversation in
Yep.
one way or the other. That
Yep.
if I call him one day and say, "Hey, I want to come to Russia and see Putin. Can you make it happen?" He said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah, of course. Let me make it happen." Just based. So I always say, when you meet people, when I see people, um, when you
Is
meet
that
them,
is that a rhetorical example or it's happened?
no, it was just a rhetorical example,
Okay, okay, all right. But
But
that would be a
But
nice one if you could pull that
through
off.
music, that's
Yeah.
another thing. Music has taken me to Kosovo, has taken me to Thailand, has taken me to Russia, has taken me to the Balkans. I never imagined in my life I would ever go to these places.
Yes, sir.
So I'm
Yes,
very
sir.
grateful for that. So it's not
Yes.
really just making money; it's where it takes you, the journey it takes you to. I'm Next month I'm going to play in Zanzibar for uh, a wedding.
VIP.
Yes, which is also an amazing. The people who are there are really amazing, beautiful, successful people who inspire me personally. So I'm very grateful that music gives you this exposure,
Access.
you
Yeah.
know. But this network of people that I've built is really personality. So when I see people who have an ugly personality and who are grumpy, who are frowning, who are uncomfortable to be around, I say you're in the wrong place. This is not your business.
Yeah.
You have to be
So
likable in
true.
one way or the other. And when I say likable, I'm not saying you should go around kissing ass. You should have your principles, your
Mhm.
grounds you stand on. You should know who you are. You should know what you can tolerate or not.
Mhm.
But you still have to be and that's what I learned from my dad. He always said, when you separate with people, make sure you separate on good terms, no matter how much of an asshole they were,
Mhm.
because you never know in what position these
Absolutely.
people will be in the future.
You
They
run
might be in
into
a
them.
position, they can even destroy you without knowing, because they know somebody who is in a
Yes.
position to destroy you. And because they
Yes.
don't, they say this guy is an asshole,
Very
he
true.
thinks all that and stuff, and you're blocking your own way. So I'm always making sure I also very often agree to disagree and
Mhm.
still keep my peace and happiness. So
And
it's
move on.
very much that gives me there's no recipe like you have to do this and that path. You have to make sure you know how to carry yourself. And I used to try to define a recipe to help the younger ones. But I got to understand that um, it's really it's personality. It's
Yeah.
personality. If you have an ugly personality, I'm really sorry for you.
Yeah, that it doesn't fly. Not when you're in the public space, in the marketplace where people are coming to have fun. People are coming, they're looking at each other and observing and asking, what does he bring? What does she bring? How can we interact and leave a positive experience onto each other before we move away? So I think it was Maya Angelou who said, people can forget what you say,
Yeah,
they can forget everything that you say, but they will not forget how you made them feel. And so
correct.
you being an international party rocker, you go around spreading a good vibe here and there. Who are some of the people with whom you've collaborated that you don't mind to name drop? Not so much for the purpose of name dropping, but because you brought meaning, you brought a good
Mhm.
experience to the people that were there, and in some way they benefited from that, and you also walk away feeling like, you know what, I did my job. Because
Yeah.
when you do your job, nothing beats that.
So I've worked with people from um, different genres of music or different ends of the world, and okay, in Germany, based on my appearance, I was very often booked or I was very often called upon to perform in an urban setting. When you say urban, we're speaking hip hop, Afrobeats, dancehall, in that genre.
Mhm.
But I play all kinds of different music. I play house music. I play mainstream music, as they call it. I even play rock and many other genres. So, uh, based on that, I had a lot of interaction with people from the hip hop scene.
Mhm.
As you said, Ice Cube, Busta Rhymes, Wyclef, back in the days, working
Mhm.
with people from Atlanta, all the Dirty South artists, the
Mhm.
Afrobeats artists. Also, we contributed a lot to making Afrobeats what it is today.
Mhm.
We performed and toured with Wizkid when he was not out there yet, with
Yes.
Wizboy, with Yemi Alade, with Brackets, with P Square, with a lot of the artists also
Mhm.
who are a foundation of that music, the same as dancehall, Beanie
Mhm.
Man, Conscience. You guys can also go check on YouTube. There's some videos, right? DJ Bizi Brown, and you're gonna see the interaction I had with a lot of these artists in a
Mhm.
different capacity. Sometimes it's DJing for the artists on their tours. Sometimes it's the promoters who book me for their shows.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's me going to support in different capacities. And I also want to mention in this junction that DJing for me, it's not just what I do with this. It's not just making people happy or partying. I
Yes.
also do a lot of charity work. I have our own organization in Germany, Freedom Charity Movement, where we do a big donations for different NGOs around the world and
Mm.
helping people who don't have it. I'm also working with a record label, Power Sonic Music in Germany, and we also help young people in the streets who do not have sense of direction because of
Mhm.
trauma, because of separation of their parents, and so on.
Mhm.
But they are gifted or they have interest or a craft. So we
Mhm.
take them, make them do the music in a good way, and then we convince them to go back to school because we're like, hey, you need a basic education to understand the
Mm.
world, to
To
understand
work
how to
into the world.
interact,
Yeah.
so and also you need funds to invest into your music before that music starts making money.
Yes,
So
indeed.
how do you get this? Is by getting a job, so you have a better job if you have education. So we've driven a lot of kids back to school who thought,
Mm.
I want to be a rapper, and started smoking weed and doing stuff. And so we do contribute a lot because I also think the kids out there should profit from my experience in one way or the other. So that's
I
also, I want to mention that because there is a big
like
stigma.
to give a little blast of my vuvuzela here for that
Of,
charity work, because it takes a man with a big heart to go out of their zone of comfort. You could just say, you know what, I'm comfortable, I can take care of myself. But
yeah.
every time I bring out one of my vuvuzelas, I'm blasting it off because you're sharing
Hmm.
your success, you're sharing the wealth of your mind and your heart with the world. And I want to applaud you and your partners for doing such work, because you never know. You never know whom you touch, encourage, or inspire in life with a word, with a deed. And so you fast forward 10 years from now, you never know. Um,
Correct.
not for me to talk about this, but a few years ago, I helped a young guy get a scholarship somewhere in China.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, this guy is now well positioned. He's now asking me, do you have some other guys that want to come over here and study and get scholarships from the Chinese government? I'm like, who are you? Like just a couple of years ago, I opened up the door for you. You got inside, you dug in deep, you made yourself a household name in this city in Shenzhen province, and now he's asking me, give me some people. I'm sending him my nephews, I'm sending my cousins because I did not have any access to that information now. And so you
Yeah.
never know. But I really want to applaud you for that, DJ Brown. Is there any one of these guys that you've heard that's really coming through and you're just like, yes, this is why I spend some of my personal resources
Oh
helping
yes.
people who have little or no access. Talk about one or two of them, if you don't mind.
Um. In this case, I will not call names.
Yes, yes,
For the
please don't call names. But we're talking
Yeah.
about changing the narrative. That's why I didn't call the name of the guy. We're talking about changing the narrative. And you're changing the narrative not only in music, as a DJ, as an MC who is well informed, who has a scholarly mind. You're
Yeah.
changing the narrative in your mastery of languages. You're changing the narrative as an international party rocker. You're moving things forward. If you have one of those
Yeah.
beneficiaries,
For
let me
example, there's
talk
a
about
young
one of
guy.
them.
He's half German, and then one of his parents is Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon. He wanted to become a rapper, a musician. Got into music. He was quite talented, quite skilled. Through a program, I used to work at the radio and was doing interviews for young, talented people who people don't know, uh, similar to what you're doing. And he was introduced to me by some Jamaican producer in Germany. So this guy comes in, I interview him, and he saw my studio and everything that was going on, and he was so passionate, he was so interested. He ran after me for 6 months. Hey, can you help me do this? And then we started working together. So we took him into our program, developed his brand, and got him back to school. Now he has a degree also in music management.
Hmm.
And funny enough, he called me and my partner recently, and he said he wants to stop doing music. And he was saying it very carefully, and because he has a child now with his girlfriend. I don't know if they're married now, but he has a child. He went back to school. He has an education. Everything which he thought he lost, he got back on track. And he called to say, "Guys, I'm sorry, I want to stop music," because he was on our record label. And I said, you don't have to be sorry because you have become somebody. People always misunderstand and think music is everything. Music is something that accompanies you. You see, people talk about P Square in Nigeria, and they always P Square also says we're not rich, as they say, we're not rich because of music, but we're doing business. Our minds are open. We're watching. Even me, being a DJ, people think it's not just the money I live from is not just from performances. It's also
Yes.
because when you have attention, a lot of people want to deal with you. A lot of people
Oh
want to
yes.
come close to
Oh
you.
yes. Oh
And
yes.
then you have exposure to different stuff,
Yes.
not
Yes.
just the music. You have people who are coming with different businesses, people with IT. I'm
Yes.
creating two apps right now on the
There you
market
go.
with two partners from me in Germany. And actually, I'm going to come back and talk about the apps when we're ready.
Absolutely.
You know,
Let's do that.
but we're creating two apps which are very very powerful. For one is for music, the other one is for the community of creativity and creatives and media. So
Mhm.
these apps are we're putting a lot of work and money into these. And
Mhm.
I also have this exposure through my creative side, but
Mhm.
you do a lot of different stuff. So this young man has stopped music. He thought I would be sad. I'm not sad. I'm actually very happy because
Mhm.
he has a woman, he has a job, he has an education, he has his sports, he's making good money, he's living a life. And
Mhm.
he was going in a very, very bad route, facing
Mhm.
drugs and very bad company. And through working with me, I took him away from that. I made him understand you can be in a studio without smoking and being high and being unreliable and many other things. And that was a success story. I also had a lot of different people. The only problem sometimes is when you speak to it, I think it defeats the purpose of why you're doing it. So that's why I'm very careful,
Yeah,
and
I
not
get it.
name
I get
dropping
that.
there. I have
I
other
get that.
people who
No,
stay with me, and we support them, making sure that they find the light, And I've made mistakes in my life. I'm not perfect, and when I know I can help somebody with my experience, then I'm very passionate. I think one of my biggest passions in life is uplifting people and
yes, sir.
brands,
Yes,
uplifting,
sir.
making people seeing the best version. I love seeing success makes me happy,
Yes,
and seeing somebody migrate to the best version or a higher version of who he
yes.
is just an amazing
It's
accomplishment
no
for me. So I would,
nothing even comes close, and that's why being the public eye, it's a privilege
yeah,
for me. It's a big privilege, and I try as hard as possible not to screw it up because I know that people are also observing. Like uh, every now and then, people identify. I'm thinking, who am I? But hey, it's probably part of being in the public eye, whether it's with this
yeah,
Story Warrior channel, which is growing faster than I expected.
yeah.
And
You know,
I have no agenda with it. All I want to do is, what is a new narrative we need to share?
yeah,
And it's finding its ways, directing me. When DJ Skipper first mentioned you, I still did not have the direct access through him. But then when I
yeah,
met Dr. D, it made it a lot easier. Now it was
yeah,
like one phone call away. I still did not, he had name dropped. I still did not have access. And so,
mm,
as the universe works, if you put your mind out there, you're in pursuit of good people, I think eventually they come in. So, as we're
yeah.
beginning to wrap up here, DJ Brown, I'd like to check with you. Have you worked with any artists from our native Cameroon?
Yes, I'm in touch with all the heavy hitters. Let me call it,
Okay. Okay.
be it Stanley Eno or God love what's his name,
Tizi
uh,
Panchak?
even TZ Panchak's manager is here in Las Vegas. He was here not too long ago. Um, I'm friends with everybody. We're connected. Is it local? Is it even the older guys from back in the days? And
Hmm.
everybody who's relevant right now, we do have a network and we work together. There's also Steve Funkam. Actually, Steve Funkam is somebody I can introduce you to. He does moderation and radio in Cameroon and is now become an actor too in Nollywood. And I know
Okay.
he'll
All
be a
right.
great he loves the kind of work you do, and he's
Yes.
also very passionate. I can introduce you to him. So
I'll be
he's also very
grateful.
good on the radio scene and also the people behind the scenes, because very
Mhm.
often I know we're always calling names of those who are in the front,
In
but the
front
real
of
people who are making it happen are.
absolutely.
That's why when you
Absolutely.
reached out to me, I told you, let me run it through my team,
Yeah.
because I'm not alone. I cannot just take decisions. These are people who care and work on the brand behind the scene, making sure that we're taking it to the next
Mm-hmm.
level, making sure we
Mm-hmm.
don't go and expose ourselves, on a platform which stands for racism or whatever. Some people
Yeah.
have some ideologies, and then they lure you into their platform, and then they make you
Then
part of it, and it's not
destroy you.
difficult. Take an interview and chop off
Yeah.
some parts of what somebody says and make it look like they
Mhm.
said something. So it's quite risky. That's why
Yeah. That's
I had to pass through my team to do a little bit of due diligence.
we
Um,
absolutely appreciate that because at the end of the day, I believe that
Excuse me a
if
second.
okay,
Hey,
that's cool.
my power is okay.
Is it running
I'm
out?
back.
We got like 3, 4,
I
five
was
minutes more to go.
no, we good. We good. I plugged it back in. Yeah.
Okay. And so now you've been in Vegas for quite a while. I believe you're beginning to wrap up your stay here, planning to go on the road. Um,
Yeah. This weekend first we have
what
BET.
is coming up in the next 1 or 2, 3 months? Just mention some of the places where you'll be performing so that some people who may be, they may be fortunate enough to connect the dots and say, oh, that's DJ Brown. That's DJ Brown.
Yeah.
I
So
heard him.
this weekend, I will be in Los Angeles playing at the
Okay.
after party of Davido's after party, and in three other events. So it's a BT weekend in Los Angeles. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of celebrities coming from the whole globe, coming together to to celebrate music and life. So it's not only at the awards. The words is I've been to awards before. It's actually quite boring because you can't take your phone in there, so there's nothing you can share with your audience and your followers per se, except you're on the red carpet. But inside you cannot. So, but there's so much stuff going on in Los Angeles, and normally that's my hub besides Vegas. This time I'm in Vegas, but normally before it was always Los Angeles. But over here, there are a lot of clubs, and yeah. So this weekend I'll be there on 3, 4 different events. I'm gonna be playing also at locations in Las Vegas. You guys just follow me as you see right here. Is it right here under? You see Instagram, DJ Bizi Brown. You guys can see where I'm performing, what I'm doing as I'm moving. As I said, I'm going to Tanzania on the 16th of next month. I'll be in Zanzibar for a whole week. Then coming back here, still doing some shows on the West Coast of the U.S., San Diego, and San Francisco. So I have quite some things lined up, and I also do a lot of private events, which I do like. It's a smaller audiences. They don't need. It doesn't need. That's another thing which is a bit tricky because you don't have to advertise. So if you invite me out for something with your station and your people, I don't advertise it. I don't put it to the public, but I'm doing a lot of amazing corporate. We call it corporate events.
Yes.
Which are amazing as well.
And that's something that we would like to explore, especially because we're part of a network of an organization with quite a few Africans, immigrants who are blowing it up in the financial services industry. And they're really growing big so fast. And we also appreciate the fact that our Afrobeats is growing faster. We would love to have somebody who is in touch with the real world of music to come either entertain or conduct some programs for our teams, which are growing super fast, or just allow other people who are part of our system to have an exposure and see where our culture is taking the world to. So as we think about that, where do you see Afrobeat, say, in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Or maybe Amapiano? What's your take on those two?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's a little bit tricky because the West has noticed the growth of Afrobeats, and unfortunately, I mean, it's a good thing because now Afrobeats is making its way into the international and mainstream platform, but at the same time, they're swallowing the artists. So there are big record labels taking the artists, making it also difficult for the rest of the industry. For those of us who have been pushing this genre all the way, we cannot reach this artist no more. You know, I did a lot of shows with Kid, and I cannot afford him. I cannot. Now he's doing arenas. He's doing huge arenas. You know, where it's a whole organization. So those of us who've been pushing the culture, at some point, these guys go now and they sign to European American labels, and then they become but it also is also deceiving because sometimes they go now on a major tour organized by an organization, and then they think their value is all the way up there, and then when they interact with promoters from around the world, they ask for money which is unjustifiable. You know, so it is. We do have a big problem in the industry, and I'm also curious to see where it's going because right now, when these people ask for this money and you ask them, how many tickets am I going to sell? I'm taking a hall for 3,000 people. You're going to come and perform for 30 minutes. I have to keep the people in the hall. I have to sell drinks. How do I make the money that you're asking for? And they cannot even explain it, you know? So it is it is growing. It's growing places. I played in Colombia a couple of months ago. I was amazed at the beach. Everywhere is Afrobeats. I played in Mexico. Everywhere is Afrobeats. I played
in Mexico. No kidding.
Yes, even in Mexico.
Wow.
You go to Mexico City. I played in Puerto Vallarta. I went to the cities everywhere. They're playing Afrobeats in the clubs, in the pubs. In Colombia, it's even more. Now, even in Colombia, there are a lot of Colombian artists. I also know a producer called DJ Yanni, and he's a big radio DJ in New York. He has a company called Breakfast in Vegas. And DJ Yanni he's from Colombia, and he told me he's looking for interactions with Afrobeat artists who are upcoming. So they merged them with Colombian artists because the Afrobeat sound people love it more and more.
Yeah.
So it's really going places around the world,
Yeah.
and I also wish that more people get exposure, and not just the mighty three as they call them, Davido, Wizkid, and Burna. They just
Okay.
got some iconic position. I mean, they've
But I think
paved the way
the
in.
penetration is it's getting quite deep out, honestly, say from my own observation, because I saw a guy, what's his name? He's half Ghanaian, half Nigerian. He spoke
Mhm.
at Google way back in 2017. Mr. Easy. And he was
Yeah,
talking about the evolution of the culture. And 2017, my antenna were working, but not at the level where I felt they would ask him to come and speak at Google headquarters, talking about the evolution of Afrobeats. 2017.
yeah.
So clearly, it is making inroads. But which one do you see is going to pull ahead? Is it Amapiano or is it Afrobeats? In
I think
your
I think
take on?
yeah. First one, Mr. Easy is also a big entrepreneur, so
Oh yeah,
that's
big
one
one.
thing.
I noticed that.
Yeah, he's a businessman. How he was a promoter first, and he started doing events, and then at some point he noticed he can sing himself, and people liked it, and he said, "I'm gonna start doing my show and promoting myself." And so he's a big business guy. He used to sell cell phones, interacting with people, a lot of
Yes,
people I know too. So that's why I'm just repeating that so people think it's not enough to just sing. You have to be an
yes,
entrepreneur. You have to
yes,
interact with people. You have to have personality, and then you will
yes,
be
sir.
interesting
Yep.
for different platforms, media platforms like yours, to also speak to us and give us the chance to give our opinion. So
Collaboration.
yes,
Collaboration. Mhm.
that's very important. But the battle, it's not a battle actually. Afrobeats. So actually, Amapiano comes from
Southern
Africa,
Africa. Southern
comes from
Africa.
Afro House, right, from South Africa. So
Yeah.
Afro House was a music normally back in the days was beats like house music, fast beats, 130 BPM. So it was going quite fast, and then it's like what the Europeans listen to, the house music the Europeans listen to, and then they started having soul singers on it. Sometimes they had no singers, and the songs were long, but South Africans would feel this music. What did Nigerians do? Nigerians came, people like Pato Ranking, like Davido, and other singers, or Ashake has also taken Amapiano and put his own touch to it. Because for West Africans, real Amapiano is boring for West Africa. I mean, now is more and more it's infiltrating West Africa as well. But the beat without singing and waiting so long for something because they just change one little beat, add one
Mhm.
little instrument, add one instrument for 8 bars, add one instrument. So the music was boring for West Africans, and then they started putting. So now I'm a piano and Afrobeat artists like Ashake, like David, and many others have taken Amapiano and put their vocals on it. So
Fusing
now
it. Yeah.
music, so now they're actually going together. You know,
Yes.
the big DJ I can introduce you to. He's from Cameroon. His name is DJ Michel.
Oh, really?
In
Not heard
on
about her.
Instagram, he has over 1 million followers. He's a big, silent. Uh,
It's a guy or
uh,
it's a girl? Michelle. I know that name can be tricky.
it's a gentleman. It's a gentleman.
Okay, Michelle.
He's a
Okay.
gentleman. Yes, DJ
Wow.
Michel is Micheal,
Where is it
and
based?
he's based in South Africa, in Johannesburg. We DJ
Okay.
here together at
Okay.
the V Lounge in Las Vegas. Recently, he's doing a world tour. He's actually presently in Paris and going to Turkey. He
Mhm.
plays piano music everywhere in Bali, in Los Angeles, in so many places. And DJ Michelle too has produced for a lot of Afrobeats and piano artists. When
That's
I were
interesting.
talking about music, he said people doing piano out there, they're not doing it right. They have to come to us in South Africa. Let's show them how to do it. I said, bro, but music, that's how music changes. Music
Yeah.
goes different places, and
Moves.
they make their own style. They add their own
Yep.
impact to it and change it. So I think it's more merging than saying that one of them is going to be on top. And there's also a
Okay.
very, very big misconception about the term Afrobeats, because
Yes.
nowadays even anybody who's African um, who makes any genre, I can be African and I play rock music. People are gonna say he's playing Afrobeats. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
people
Very true.
Wizkid has done a lot of real dancehall songs or reggae songs, real reggae. They call it Afrobeats. Burna Boy has songs in pop, hip hop, soul, in different genres that he's making. But because it's Burna Boy, they call it Afrobeats. So that's
That's right. And I've
and
played.
now, is Afrobeats going to go further, or Amapiano is quite difficult because Afrobeats is not a genre of music. It's just a whole
Continent.
it's just a whole people,
Yeah.
and everything they make is called Afrobeats. I mean, there are people in Afrobeats who are making soul, who are singing real good soul, but because they sing in Yoruba language, they call it Afrobeats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a very tricky thing, and it's hard to define as well. Because
You managed to escape it when DJ Skipper was here. He answered the question. I put it up and it lit a fire. There was a
Yeah.
firestorm online. People were like, no, no. He decimated the idea that Afro beats is like, come on, guys. There's no
So what
such
is you
thing
think
as
that Afrobeats is going further
no.
than Amapiano?
He said that Afro beats is it just like you said. It's a term. It's a very global term. It's not
Mhm.
like one specific genre. And he kind of like pushed it a little bit to the side. So there were people online that were like, no, no, you cannot say that. You can I think there were very passionate people from maybe West Africa, but I love the conversation. I said it went back and forth. I said, you want to talk to DJ Skipper? I'm happy to put you guys together so you can continue the conversation. But
Yeah.
it definitely lit up a fire. And with respect to Amapiano, I
Hmm.
have lived in Southern Africa for 2 years,
Yep.
Johannesburg and Gaborone.
Hmm.
And my take was that when you live there, that vibe begins to touch you in a special way.
Oh,
But if you have not lived there, I still found that my family, I'll buy music from there and send to my family in Cameroon, and they don't get it. 2 years later, the same song finally blows up in Cameroon. They say, oh my goodness, you had sent this song to us. We did not get it. It took 2 years to move from the southern tip of the continent to the northern tip. That was around 2000. But my point being, I appreciate what you say. You don't want to take any sides, but you said you're also interested in finding out what's going to be the outcome. And the guys from East Africa, we don't even I don't know what's the specific genre that they play, but
It,
Tanzania, Kenya,
if it- yeah, they play bongo flavor as their music. Bongo flavor.
okay, and
Yeah.
that too is making significant. It has a presence here in Dallas area where I live. When we go to parties, we see even if it's a Nigerian party or West African party, eventually you hear bongo sliver too.
Yeah.
So
So one thing which is there is how I see it. Sometimes it's have you ever looked at the world map from Europe? It's Europe that's in the middle.
yes,
Europe and Africa. If you look at the world map, if you're in China, China is in the middle. You go any
yeah,
school, you'll see it. In the United States, look at the world map. United States is in the middle. So they turn the globe. So
yeah,
everybody from their angle sees themselves as being the center of the world,
that's right. That's true.
and that's how it is here. So I'm a piano. Of course, they say I'm a piano to the world. We're taking over. The Afrobeats guys say they're taking over.
Yeah,
Different genres of music. People say they're the
yeah,
ones running now. In the United States, some people are still, for them, hip hop is everything. It's taking over the world. Everybody
yeah,
knows it. They don't acknowledge. People don't acknowledge other genres. I have
yeah.
a gentleman who's also here in Los Angeles. His name is Anu Gillett. I can also introduce you to him as well. He's also an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. He has his own record label called Osing. He's a Bayangi guy and
Mhm.
very passionate. He's into IT and also into music and art.
Mhm.
And he
Wow.
listens to a lot of piano music. He has a great sound system in his car, and he
Mhm.
loves more and more piano music. And I told him the same thing. I said, if you fly to Johannesburg or Cape Town and listen to Amapiano over there, and you see, especially when you see the people dance it, it's going to change
Mhm.
your life. It's going to
Absolutely.
because they understand the music, and
Yes.
they whenever a beat changes, they move, do a different
Yes.
style, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, how did he move? And then another beat a bass comes, and then you see they start going, and when they
Yeah.
start moving a certain way, bass, then you start hearing the music different, you know
Yes.
and it touches you different. I totally agree. And then you might come out of South Africa and you think Amapiano is everything until you go out and notice that people are not giving it that attention that they have
Exactly.
down there. But
Exactly.
nevertheless, I always say there's space for everybody. Me personally, I'm a big fan of diversity, versatility, and I think there's space for everybody. There's space for every DJ to perform. There's space for every music genre to be out there. There are too many platforms out there for us to be claiming that
Hmm.
one is going faster than the other. Everybody should just contribute to what they
Yes.
love. If you love a genre, you contribute in your own way. I love my black people in every capacity, and I also
Mm.
stand for black excellence,
Yes, sir.
um, in every way. And I'm also half white. My mother is blonde with green eyes, so I don't also tolerate per se people standing there and claiming that every white folk is out of place or
Absolutely true.
it's
Absolutely
it's
true. There is
misuses.
beauty.
Yeah,
There's beauty in every single one if you take the time to look. And
exactly.
if you take the time to listen to their story, you begin to understand it has no place. Hatred has no place in the world, in my view. If you just take the time to listen, you'll realize the world is a far more beautiful place. So, where do you find that revelers, party people, party going people, where do they have the most fun? Is it Europe? Is it Africa? Is it America? Is it
Wow,
Caribbean? Is it Middle
that's
East?
that's a you will be surprised, man. I've been to countries which are very underrated globally due to their international media lack of
Mhm.
presence. And
Yes.
when you go there, I mean, I mentioned Kosovo and Serbia and
Yeah.
Macedonia.
Yeah.
When I grew up, Kosovo was in the news every day for war,
Yes.
like
For war.
the way it's in Syria right now. But when I
Mhm.
went there, I saw so many happy people.
Oh
A
yeah.
DJ club with 7,000 people, huge, with high tech technology, and people were celebrating and having fun. So it's really
Yes.
hard to say. I think that also they came from war. That's just an example. You know, they
Hmm.
came from a lot of suffering. That's why I say I still believe that we will always have business because there's suffering, and when people have suffering, they need a balance. They need to
Hmm.
also celebrate life and forget a little
Yes.
bit. So,
Yep.
so long as there's suffering all over the world, there's always going to be people happy and celebrating. You know, I read 10 years ago that Canada was the country which laughs the less at jokes, and like
I
why?
thought it was Germany.
No, it's Canada, or it
Okay.
was. I read it was Canada, and that's
Okay.
another thing. It's a whole big misconception about Germany.
About Germany, yeah. People make Germany is always the butt of jokes. Like, and
Yeah, especially in the
I've
U.S.
been to
When I say
Germany. I've
Germany,
been to
it's
Germany
very
many
strange.
times. I do not find that to be true. In the same light, you talk about countries that are emerging from war. When I went
Yeah,
to work, do some training in Iraq, I had some of the best, the most hospitable people on earth in Iraq.
exactly,
I cannot wait to go back. I cannot wait to go
exactly.
back because they were so hospitable. But so what you're saying is it
You
really
put
doesn't matter.
if you put your focus on media,
Yeah.
media is also misleading in many
Yes.
ways because the media says Las Vegas is the party place. But does that have you been to Douala and seen what kind of parties they have? Have you been to Benin State? Have you been to
Yeah.
Lomé in Togo? Have you been to
Yeah.
Asia in Bali? You know,
Yeah.
people party even more and even better, and they're happier. So
Yeah.
back to finish that statement about Canada, they say they laugh the less at jokes. Why? Because they're the most balanced people. The
Hmm.
economy was quite great. People are happy. People are less frustrated. Everybody has food to eat. The way their country is built. There's a
Hmm.
lot of satisfaction. The country is clean, developed. Everybody's insured. So they laugh less at jokes because they have the less problems. People who have problems party. You see somebody who gets so drunk, you go and check. Maybe he got a girl outside impregnated, and he doesn't know how to tell his wife, and he says, "Man, let me go party." So um, that's why I'm saying that it's a it's a tricky thing to evaluate, and just because the media pushes some places and says that
Yes.
everybody says, "Oh, spring break is Cancun. Cancun is the best party." That's a joke. There are parties that much better than Cancun, but it's media. Everybody they're making their money off
Yep.
people going to Cancun, so they definitely will push that agenda for people
Yep.
to consume and feel that those are the places. So for me personally, the country I love the best and for vacation is Thailand,
Hmm.
simply because it's the nicest people I've ever seen. They greet like
They are.
this.
They
The
are.
people of
Yeah.
very humble, very
Crocum
nice.
Cup, Crocum Cup. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that a lot.
Okay.
That the people are quite human and basic, and the food is natural and stuff. But generally, I just say, guys, if you have the opportunity, travel the world. Don't sit and think making money is everything. You will not take your money to the grave. Travel the
And
world. Try to see
absolutely.
different people. And you traveling doesn't necessarily mean you have to go somewhere. I can leave here and go to Chinatown and interact with some Chinese. That's to me is like traveling. So if you don't
Yeah.
have the opportunity to go because of your situation, or because you're a mother raising two, three kids, and you cannot travel, you don't have the money, or you don't have the time,
Yeah.
open your mind. Go and delete your algorithms on YouTube so you stop seeing the ghetto
Same
bitches
stuff
playing
every
with
time.
each other's language and seeing all these stupid things, or seeing only Afro beats. That's another thing. When I
Hmm.
came to the US, I had a second phone, a US phone,
Hmm.
other from my German phone. I was like, damn, I've been so clouded in Germany, seeing the same content all the time because
Hmm.
my algorithms, and then it makes you think that's what's relevant. But then you come in. So if you guys have the chance to go into your cookies of your
Hmm.
computers, your laptops, your iPads, your phone, try to
Hmm.
delete the cookies and make sure that you guys are open. Your phone should give you
Hmm.
impulse from different sides of the world,
From all
because
places.
once you write, if you write Afrobeats, you might think that's the only music that exists.
Listen to
Meanwhile, there's so
this.
many new genres and things coming up. There's new soul. There are people. So open your minds, guys, and open your mind to the world. Travel, meet people, be inquisitive. When you see somebody says, "Hey, man, I cannot tell where you from. Where are you from?" They say, "Hey, I come from Bangladesh," or somebody says, "I come from Madagascar." Ask them, what languages do they speak? What
Yeah.
kind of food do you guys eat? How do you guys react? Who's your president? How's your politics? How did this country? Who
Got to
gave
be
birth
where
to
it is.
this country?
Yep.
By the way,
Okay.
Madagascar had a president for many years who was a DJ, and he became a president because he became famous through DJing, and he
No
became
kidding.
just for
No
you
kidding.
guys.
I had no
There,
idea. And I have a brother who just moved here from there. He used to work there as an international
ask him;
airline
he'll tell
executive.
you.
International airline executive. He just moved here. But all right, this is the last part. It's like 2 minutes. It's rapid
Yeah.
question, rapid fire answer.
Okay. Let's
Short,
go.
short answer now. DJ Brown, who is the artist you most like to work with this year?
Busy Brown,
Just one name. Huh?
DJ Busy Brown.
Okay. You
I want
like
to
to work
work.
with just
I'm focusing on myself, working with myself,
fair enough.
and redefining myself. So it's
Fair
not a
enough.
conceited answer. I'm just straightforward. This year, my focus now is creating my products and working with myself. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. DJ Bizi Brown, which is the city you most look forward to performing there?
Wow. The city I most look forward to performing. Damn, it's a hard thing to say. Man, I've been to so many cities, and it's hard to say. I would just say, where am I looking forward to perform? Damn, I didn't see this question. I'm supposed to be giving quick answers. So I'm just gonna say,
Yeah, you can chew over it a little bit.
I'm gonna say Mumbai, India, because I want something
Mumbai.
different, completely different. Mumbai, India.
Fantastic. I've never been to Mumbai.
Yeah.
Um, uh, who has been the greatest influence on your life
Excuse
musically?
me.
Who's been the greatest influence on your life musically, other than your dad?
Um, a big influence I've had musically. Um, are you talking about somebody I know, or somebody
Yes,
I
it's
just?
somebody that you know, or you've collaborated with, or you've had some kind of collaboration, and you feel
So
like
there are two
this
people.
person
There's
has.
Prince Amaho. He's also in. He's Nigerian. Was one of the artists who in the 90s was quite big, performing out there, doing a lot. And he's the one who made the song Bad Boys, What You Want to Do," which was from UB40. He's the one who
Mhm.
created the version that went viral in
Okay,
Europe and across the globe. So Prince Amal and DJ Notorious,
okay.
also from Cameroon, both
Mhm.
of them influenced me a lot, and in a local way, and inspired me and made me know that I could achieve more than I ever thought. So these two are very, and Prince Amao is part of Soul Bros. So
Mhm.
you guys can go online, Soul and then Bros, BROS. Check
Mhm.
Prince Amao. He's done a lot of work. We've done a lot of projects together. Also, our charity organization, we run it together. And with Prince Amao, with DJ Notorious, we own nightclubs for
Mhm.
over 10 years and have done a lot. So these two people, I don't want to go and call people just because the media knows them. These two people really impacted my life massively. And I'm very
No,
grateful.
that's even more profound. These are the unsung heroes that I'm looking for. And the last one, you walk into a Cameroonian party. On the
Mhm.
table, you got Fufukon, you got Achu, you got Bongo Chobi, you've got Ekwang. Which of them would you want to say? I'm gonna take a sip. I'm gonna take a dip at this and chew on this before I move on to the next.
You didn't mention Dole.
Oh yeah, Ndole too, Ndole.
Yeah, I'll go for Dole.
Okay,
With
Ndole
shrimp, with king prawns.
or King Prawns. Okay, okay, okay.
I'll go
Thank
for
you
that.
so much. Thank you so
With
much.
fried plantains.
With fried plantains, you see, it got even better. I didn't talk about beignet haricot, but now
Yeah,
you talk about fried plantains, and I remember that
fried
now.
plantains and Dole. Yes.
So some people have been watching or listening, and they want to find out more about DJ Busy Brown. Where should they go? I know right at the bottom of your name is
Yeah.
your Instagram holder. Other than that, is there anything else they should find
Instagram. You
out?
can check out my Spotify. I have different playlists, and I'm a very open person. Everybody can reach out. Besides Instagram, you guys can write an email to info@djbusybrown.com. So I'm very open to collaborate, exchange. Even if I can't, nobody should be upset. If I can bring some value to somebody in some way, I'm very open because I only got to where I am with the stuff I do because
Mhm.
people were open to listen to me and show me love. So I've
Absolutely.
written info@djbusybrown.com. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. So you guys can write
Okay.
me an email there, or you hit me up on in the DMs in on Instagram. If I don't see it immediately, don't be upset. Sometimes it's the guys from my team who answer, but my whole team is very. They know that my interaction with the world, with my fans, with people is very important, and I do this for the interaction. I'm not doing this for myself. So I'm doing it for you guys to give you guys more entertainment and to uplift people with everything I do. So you guys can definitely reach out if you have something. If I cannot help you, I probably know one or two people who can help you and I'll connect you. So that's that's how I move. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
YouTube
so
also
much.
have a lot of stuff on YouTube. My TikTok is not really moving. My website is gradually being refreshed right now. So we took it offline for a bit because my designers are working on it because I want to incorporate an online merch shop because I have a good logo people like and I have a lot of merch that I designed myself in the past. So we're incorporating it on the website so you guys can buy some nice merch no matter where you are and spread the good vibes of DJ
Spread
Busy
the
Brown.
good vibes. Spread the good vibes. On that note, thank you so much for the uplifting conversation, for
Yeah,
what you do in charity with charity work, for what you do for other artists, for their collaborations, for having such a broad heart to see the world is not one place. The world is bigger than all of us, and
correct.
that suddenly came through. I was delighted to know I'm not just talking to a one-sided DJ. I'm talking to someone
Oh
with a
yeah.
broad mind, with a big heart, and that's what makes this conversation a transformational one, changing the narrative one person at a time. Thank you so much, DJ Busy Brown. Safe travels and keep spreading the love. Thank you so
And
much, sir.
thank you very much again for this opportunity to be here. I take it very, very warm to my heart. Nothing for granted. Thank you for your time and your attention, what you're doing for the artists, for the DJs, for the people, for the scholar. I saw this lady from Silicon Valley you interviewed, and I see you're doing a lot of great work, and you have to keep it up. And you should actually put up a donation place so people can donate to support, even if
Thank
it
you.
buys you just water for your studio or stuff.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you.
yeah, you should do that because the
Appreciate.
great work you're doing. A lot of people don't know how much work it takes, preparation to make sure you're lighting your system, to make sure you keep your kids and family away who need your attention, to make sure you iron your beautiful pink shirt uh, before you come here. So it takes a lot. I've done radio and I've also broadcasted online. I had my show was actually called Good Vibes on Air. It's actually on YouTube, Instagram as well. YouTube, Good Vibes on Air. I did it a lot, but at one point I couldn't keep up because of how much I needed for the preparation. Because I was also DJing on there, taking on show guys physically. So I know how much work you're doing for this,
Thank
which
you.
is hardly rewarded, and
Thank you.
to give us a voice for your
Thank you.
audience and people out there to hear what we have to say and what we have to contribute. Thank you very much on behalf of everybody who has had the opportunity and those coming up. I dropped some names. Reach out to me. I will hook you up with different people. I have a palette of people you can interview who will give you amazing content, and I'm confident that your brand will grow. I think you're just getting started. This is gonna go big.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm just getting started, and I do it from the heart
exactly.
because
Do you
I
actually
truly believe.
know? Sorry,
Sorry, go
before
ahead.
you say what you believe in, do you actually know that on Spotify you can upload videos?
I just learned about that not too long ago.
Yes, on Spotify, because I was watching a podcast from some Nigerian lady, and then while I was watching, I was scrolling up in Spotify, and I saw, oh, there's a video. Actually, what I'm listening to is a video. So
And
just for you to know, so you can put your stuff out there as well.
oh yes, thank you. I'll definitely do that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I maybe come to you for some advice because uh, when you talk to someone who is business minded, they can give you ideas from the
Anytime.
marketplace, from different perspectives in ways that you've never imagined. So I'm very grateful for this conversation. And for me, I like storytelling, refreshing storytelling, especially for people who are unsung heroes. And I believe you absolutely live up to that expectation of an unsung hero with an untold story who is
Yeah.
blazing a new trail and writing a new narrative. Thank you so much, DJ Brown. We can hang on for a second. I'm stuck